Hello and welcome back. Give me 1 second. I have to change the thumbnail. For whatever reason, the thumbnail did not upload correctly. So let me go ahead and get that done. Apologize if you want to go ahead and fast forward for those of y'all watching the recap by about 30 seconds. You shouldn't be missing too much. But let's get this fixed over here on our end. Send it out to YouTube. And I hope everyone is having a fantastic day as always. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, of course. Here we go. Downloads. Okay. Where is... Oh, goodness. They sorted it out. All right. I figured out why I couldn't find it. And why it didn't upload. I sorted it out through a different thing. Anyways, I apologize to everyone. Hello. Welcome on back in. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, my name is ATX Crypto. Today we're going to be discussing Pulse Chain. We're going to be looking into what Pulse Chain's all about. We're going to be looking into what's going on with Pulse Chain and some of the recent news that has been discovered and discussed as well. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and kind of kick this off. So for those of y'all who don't know what Pulse Chain is, it's essentially going to be a planned fork of the Ethereum network. And this is the entire Ethereum network. It is a new creation, a new layer 1 protocol, which will be again called Pulse Chain. We'll be discussing what the blockchain fork is, what actually it means to be entailed in this whole fork, why this particular fork is actually occurring in the first place, and of course the potential impacts of the fork. And so let me pull up that one more time. For whatever reason, I'm just kind of all over the place. I don't know why. I feel like I got a little bit of a later start here, but I should... Again, this is a daily stream here with myself, ATX Crypto. I usually do this around noon Central Standard Time. So welcome in if you're new here. Again, my name is ATX Crypto. We're going to be discussing today about the Pulse Chain fork. We're basically going to also be discussing some items that I had heard in recent times, you know, some struggles people have, everything like that. But again, Happy New Year to everybody. It is 2023, and hopefully this brings the year of the fork of Pulse Chain in which all these items can come into play. So what is a blockchain fork? What does that actually mean, right? A blockchain fork occurs when the underlying code of the blockchain is changed, resulting in a creation of a new separate blockchain with its own native coin, of course. In this case, we're forking the Ethereum network and the underlying code there, changing some parameters to speed up the efficiency, faster throughput, lower the fees. And through it all, it's going to have its own native token, Pulse, or PLS. The planned fork of the Ethereum network will create a new layer 1 protocol, Pulse Chain, and will include all copies of ERC20s and ERC721 tokens from the Ethereum blockchain. This means anyone holding tokens on the Ethereum network or on the Ethereum blockchain in its entirety will also hold the same coins over here on the Pulse Chain as well. Now you might be wondering why this fork's occurring, and the main reason why the fork is occurring is to address scalability. Richard Hart is the creator of Hex and founder of Hex. He's also going to be the creator and founder of Pulse Chain and the entire Ethereum network fork. Now, the reason why he's doing it in the first place is because, again, the gas fees was getting out of control. And if Ethereum does pick up more traction like it's planning to in the future, the gas fees in which you pay for these transactions to perform any action on the Ethereum network will increase as well. And we saw this in 2021, actually, where in some cases it costs more than $50 just to swap a coin from one to another. And there were many instances in which this fee was very much higher than that as well. with Hex and the way that creation works, it actually was designed so that way when you end your stake, it calculates all the days you've been staked. Well, that process took up a lot of gas and took up a lot of the network efficiency or network ability. And so it actually costs more just to end your stake. Now, for those of y'all who aren't familiar with what Hex is, you're welcome to go back and check out my previous videos. I'm more than happy to share that information with everyone, and it's something that I do talk about quite frequently, as it's something that I do quite enjoy myself. Let me get some music going on in the background. I just heard there's no music happening. There we go. So, the reason why the Ethereum is being forked in this case to Pulse Chain is for scalability. And of course, with that being said, it's also going to be increasing the overall efficiency of both networks and what it should be doing. Richard Hart talks about this quite often, but it's called horizontal scaling. And essentially, the idea behind horizontal scaling is that you have, think of McDonald's. That's a perfect example. It's easy to understand. Everyone has it. It's essentially everywhere. I've been all over the world in my military experience, and there's been a McDonald's in every single country I've ever visited. So this should pertain to anyone watching the video, and you should have a good understanding of what it is and what McDonald's is. It's essentially a fast food restaurant. But when McDonald's has a lot of traffic coming to one location, it doesn't make sense to just make that McDonald's bigger and just try to work on that one McDonald's location. It doesn't make any sense to just focus only solely on one, because if you do that, you aren't necessarily fixing the congestion or fixing the actual cause. And that's the congestion and everything happening with the traffic coming through. So what they do is they will build another McDonald's. They copy paste, right? They copy everything over here and they just build another McDonald's, in some cases fucking 2 blocks down the street, right? I know in my area in Texas, there's McDonald's everywhere, and you could literally pull them up. If one of them is busy, drive another 5 minutes and you'll be at the next one, and it's most likely not busy. And that's the idea behind Pulse Chain as well. They're copying and pasting the entire Ethereum network to relieve some of the traffic, relieve some of the congestion, but also be another player over here, so that way it actually ends up improving both parties, right? It's not like one's going to take over the other. We already live in a multi-chain world where we have other networks as well, such as Polygon, Avalanche, Binance, and many others. And so that's just a small little interim of what it is. So keeping that in mind, by creating this new layer 1 protocol and by creating Pulse Chain, the developers hope to improve the speed and efficiencies of both the blockchains, as well as make it more secure against potential attacks. And the way they're doing that is they are copying over the proof of stake system. And so that's just going to be helping that much more. And they've been proved to be even more efficient. There's never been any hacks on these proof of stake systems. All that good stuff. Now, of course, it's always important to note that not all planned forks are successful. So even if this fork is successful, it doesn't necessarily mean the new blockchain will be widely adopted or achieve the same level of success as the original Ethereum blockchain. It is up to my belief, however, that again, the network, the community, the fact that people are looking for lower fees, faster throughput, those already exist on some other blockchains, but they don't come with other items as well, and they have their own flaws. And so by forking the entire Ethereum network, you take something that's been tried and true and you move it over and to paste it into Pulse Chain instead of trying to switch up and create all new code and insert new bugs that have not been tested or not been tried. You're copying over the entire Ethereum network, which has been tested, which has been tried and never had any bugs. And that's what we're going on. Now, the impact of the fork of the Ethereum and its users, as well as the new blockchain and its users, is difficult to predict. And of course, like we already know, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I look at what's available in front of me, and there's always a variety of factors that can come through at any point in time. We saw that come in 2021, where there was more hacks and more centralized exchanges failed, and all that just continued to happen. So essentially what we're trying to do is do the 5 Ps, which is proper Proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? We're trying to plan ahead. We want to make sure that we are ahead of the game. We want to make sure that you know what's coming on, you know what's going on, you know what's happening everywhere. So right now, essentially, like, there's this idea that the entire Ethereum state is the only one because it's been tried and true, but we know that's not the case. And so what I'm going to do is actually share a screen and actually go to pulsechain.com. And this is actually a great little breakdown of kind of what Pulse Chain is real fast. Give me 1 second here. And of course, there was a sacrifice phase for it, so I'm not going to discuss all that as well. But let me share this screen right now and say hello to everyone who is in here. I appreciate everyone coming in, tuning in, saying hello. Happy New Year to every single one of y'all. Hex Huddle in the house. Hello. Crypto Freedom in the house. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone all around the world. Let's fucking go. We got PS Joe 16 saying good afternoon and happy new year. Well, happy new year to you as well, my friend. Summer Darling in the house saying hey, 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 hey. What's going on, Summer Darling? We got Hex Flex in the house as well saying financial advisors told people to get into FTX. Yeah, that was a big thing. And again, it's always funny. You got there was a little meme that came out basically saying like you know, Richard Hart, the person telling you to get your keys off centralized exchanges, doing everything he can to prevent you from getting scammed, is called the scammer. And yet the people who were telling you to get on centralized exchanges were just merely wrong and they didn't know. Like, they couldn't have seen it coming. Like, so freaking stupid. Yeah, Solana and Luna and all that shit. Yeah, exactly. Hex Huddle, definitely. Right there with everyone. I appreciate everyone coming in, tuning in, having fun on this chat. Today we're going to be looking into Pulse Chain. There's been a little bit of news coming out, right? We're always trying to find what's happening. We always want to know when it's going to come. And we're all waiting for it just like everyone, right? And Richard already said it himself. Like, even he is waiting for it, right? So it's just a matter of getting all of it done. I'm trying to, do y'all know how to just zoom in on freaking, anyways, I'll flip this over here. So this is Pulse Chain's goal. It's to increase Ethereum's value. Ethereum fees will be lowered by sharing its load. And this is what I discussed a moment ago. Instead of having one McDonald's drive-thru and just building it bigger and bigger and bigger, you just copy paste that McDonald's and make another one a couple blocks down the road, sharing the capacity, sharing the load in which it can handle, thereby enriching a whole bunch of users. So it's going to enrich Ethereum users. Pulse Chain will re-enable priced out cases. Now this is items that are, these are items that are such as like companies or projects who couldn't create the project because the fees for Ethereum were just too high. In order to create the fees, in order to run the test, in order to do everything they wanted to do, unfortunately this is now going to or fortunately this is now going to allow these folks to actually come back in, participate in blockchain development, create their new project, share their ideas with the world. And that's something we have to be open to. We as a Hex community must be open to the idea that we are going to have a whole bunch of communities on Pulse Chain. Just like Ethereum does right now, there are a massive amount of projects. Now, 98% of those projects are dog shit, right? We know that, which is why you want to invest in quality and not quantity. You want to do the research to find out what's going on. You want to know who the owners of the project are. Are they anonymous founders, or do they put themselves out there saying, it's me, I made this project? Do they have admin keys? Is it a mutable contract? Can they change it later? Right? You want to know all this stuff, and that's why doing your own research is part of that as well. It's something that will take time, and sometimes investing not everything all at once is the best thing to do. If you just want to be participating in a project, then do some and do a little bit, but don't go all in on something that's brand new typically, especially if you don't know who the founders are and a whole bunch of other stuff. But Ethereum will, Pulse Chain will enrich Ethereum users, because what it's going to do Instead of launching empty, pulse chains bring in the entire Ethereum system state and all of the ERC20s as well. We had talked about this just a moment ago, but it's going to be all the ERC20s along with all the ERC721s, NFTs, and all those good stuff too. This rewards holders and founders of Ethereum-based projects. So if you were priced out and you had a project on Ethereum that you were wanting to launch, and for whatever reason you just weren't able to maintain it or just weren't able to get it up and running, well, once Pulse Chain launches, all that's already going to be on the new network, because it's not launching empty. It's launching over with everything copied from Ethereum, and it's just going to have it sitting there ready for you. So if you want to come on in and participate, you just got to change a couple of items and you are in. It's going to enrich the ERC20 and NFT users by creating the largest airdrop ever. Thousands of Ethereum-based tokens and NFTs receive their free Pulse Chain versions. This new gold rush contains the value discovery of thousands of tokens and NFTs on Pulse Chain. And of course, if you always want to be a whale in certain ERC20s and NFTs, maybe you can be now. It's easy to use because it does work with MetaMask, of course. It works with other hardware wallets as well, Treasure, Ledger, and other hardware wallets that you may hold. Ethereum users can transact for free with Freemium Pulse. Now, Freemium Pulse is actually given out by the project essentially right away. So when Pulse Chain launches, if you are currently holding any ERC20 token, you're going to have it copied over on the new network. Now, if that has value over there on that new network, you can swap it and do the transactions and everything as well using their own decentralized exchange called Pulse X, which is also going to be launching at the same time. Today, we're just discussing the fork of Ethereum at this moment in time, or Pulse Chain in this moment in time, but it will come with its with its own decentralized exchange at launch. So you don't have to worry about trying to find anything or anything like that. People in the community are building bridges that's already coming out, and so once it launches, it's going to be ready to bridge in different networks and all that stuff as well. It's going to lower Pulse Chain fees and serve more users because it's going to increase the throughput of Ethereum by 4 times, essentially lowering the average block time from 13 seconds down to 3 seconds. Now that's a fast blockchain time as well. Of course, it's removing the pollution, but Ethereum has already switched over from proof of work to proof of stake, so this is no longer necessarily the case. There are still the ETHW users and ETHFair users, which are the proof of work system still. But we aren't copying over their networks. We're copying over the ETH 2.0, just in case anyone doesn't know that already. So you can get that information as well. We're looking to improve the game theory because it has 0% inflation. This is a deflationary protocol, folks. So again, for those of y'all who aren't familiar with that, it is not going to continue to increase in supply. It will in fact lower as time goes on, along with a 25% fee burn. And they also have the EIP 1559, which has a fee burn built in as well, giving it that much more fee burning ability. So that's what they're working on right now. It's empowering the Pulse Chain holders because it's a native token called Pulse, which can be staked and delegated to validators. They're working on all that system as well to make sure that everything is going to work as it is intended. So if we look over here on Twitter, I closed that page for whatever reason too. Yeah, I did close it. Okay, yeah, let me just pull it back up again. One sec. Oh snap, it looks like we got BitBoy Crypto saying something about Pulse Chain. So we are going to take a look at that here in just a second as well. Whoops, I'm not trying to make a tweet. What are you doing? Oh goodness gracious. I hope everyone again is having a great day. It's a new year. We're all having fun. We're all just going to be making it. It's a blast being part of this community and just watching this all thing play out as well. So this is Richard Hart. He is the founder and creator of Hex.com. He's also going to create Pulse Chain and Pulse X as well. So his latest tweet was 22 hours ago, and it states that, hey everyone, waiting for PulseChain.com and PulseX.com. I'm waiting too. It's ready when it's ready. Welcome to software. And so a lot of the folks in the crypto space and our space as well have kind of assumed that Richard Hart's time in the fork, time in the network. Because imagine if we had launched Pulse Chain in the bear market, and imagine what it would have been doing during this time. We'd probably see it much, much lower than maybe even the sacrifice price as well. Now, those are always good opportunities, and sometimes just launching the protocol is just an easy thing to do. But Taylor Crypto over here, she actually came out with one as well. And it's a video basically showing, did you know holding your ERC20 coins will automatically receive the airdrop? And so we're going to play this video here. I'm going to go back.
Holding.
And lower that down just a smidge. It seemed pretty loud on my end. So you let me know if this is too loud for y'all.
Chainlink, Shiba Inu, Decentraland, Hex, Aave, Compound, Uniswap, and thousands of others, you will automatically be participating in the airdrop. So whether you want to participate or not, you will have free tokens on Pulse Chain that start increasing in value. The only catch is that you must have your tokens on a decentralized wallet such as MetaMask, and I would do that as soon as possible because the snapshot for the airdrop will be happening very soon. So of course that means not keeping your tokens on Coinbase, Binance, or Kraken, as those are all centralized exchanges. Holding Chainlink, Shiba Inu, Decentraland, Hex, Aave.
So of course all those coins and many others are all getting copied over, as we know, and that's what we are waiting for, right? We're waiting for that to happen because Pulse Chain is soon to be coming here as well. So we have folks in our space asking if he just dropped a hint about Pulse Chain development. Could the block explorer log multiple prices per day historically? So his message was, Ethereum, pro tip, you can click the dollar value of a transaction and see what it was on the day and what it is now. In Etherscan, it only logs one price per day historically. So it's not perfect. And so that's essentially stating that we could be looking here going forward in the future as well. PulseX and Pulse Chain have already trended on Twitter and they haven't even launched. Are you ready to take over the crypto Twitter space? And here's a BitBoy Crypto having his message. Go back and play.
All right, questions.
I'm still waiting for them to come through. They should show
No
up in a
questions, guys.
second. Well, there's one.
Oh, there's Heavid Hex says my bullish on Pulse Chain. I don't know anything about Pulse Chain. I'll be really honest with you. I really don't. What was the last one? Pulse X? I can't remember. And now there's Pulse Chain. I don't know when it's going to come out. I would just say that a lot of people know we've not made a stance on X. We have been very neutral on it from the very beginning, which makes us neutral on Pulse X, which makes us neutral on Pulse Chain. Very pro on having a pulse. I think having a pulse is very important. I think you should live your life to the fullest. Obviously there's some investigations going on with that right now.
That's one thing we can say, generally speaking, if there is a case going on, like we saw with XRP, that doesn't usually bode well.
Yeah, I would tell you, I believe, in my opinion, that the results of that case are going to probably determine what happens next with the next iteration of the coin.
Right. But even still, like, that's what I'm saying with XRP. We think the result of that will be positive, but even still, while it's ongoing, it's definitely had a negative impact.
And I would say this about Richard. You guys know, like, personally, as a friend, I like Richard. He came and visited one day. We went out to lunch, we went to a concert. Like, I like Richard. But I would say this. I don't think Richard's going to end up getting in trouble for any of this because I don't think he's ever going to come back to America. I think he'll stay gone forever. I don't think he'll ever come back. I think the last time he came, probably the last. But now look, the SEC does have arms long enough to reach into other countries. However, I believe I know where he is, and I have nothing to back this up other than I heard a rumor of this on Twitter. I'm not going to tell you where it is. I heard a rumor of this on Twitter, and it makes sense. I think where he is, based on my best, he wouldn't tell me where he lives. He would not. I asked him. He would not give me a single, word about where he lived. He's just like, nah, man, sorry, I don't tell anybody. I was like, I thought we were bros. He's like, I don't tell anybody. I was like, okay. So do not know, But if he is where I think that he is, based on a rumor and just putting some stuff together in my head, I don't think they'll ever be able to get him there. So that's just my personal thoughts on it. Just opinion only. All right, question.
Well, that's not really too crazy about the whole personal opinion there. Let me see what else I saw with it, because we're looking to apparently, continue on down this whole area, right? We want to make sure that Pulse Chain's coming. We want to make sure that it's here for the long haul. Share the information with everyone. I know the Twitter space in general has basically been discussing it every single day. We're always waiting for Pulse Chain, right? And so for those of y'all who didn't know, there was a sacrifice period for Pulse Chain. It happened roughly in August or even June of 2021. And we all thought that Pulse Chain wouldn't be out long before then. We hear the software's hard bit. And so one person I did want to look up was the actual dev in Pulse Chain. His name is Brett Tepp. And let's see what he had to say here. Someone asked me where I got my data. Here's the output of a DHT crawl. It takes about 9 hours. There are 579 nodes that were found with Pulse Chain testnet, V2B fork. The record line is encoded and Codians, the IP address and port to connect to. So I don't understand what that means per se, but it basically means there were a lot of nodes already running just on the V2B testnet contains. Okay. So what he's saying right here, oh yes, I didn't know about Hex or Richard Hart when he saved me weeks after this post. I sold all my tokens and bought and staked Hex. That BitBoy crypto segment was so controversial is what led me to Hex. Thanks for the memories. So he was basically saying, like, you know, what brought him into the first time in the first place. And what he's trying to say right here is that he has to wait for essentially Richard Hart to come out. So we have a lot of folks who are talking about it, about Pulse Chain, about when it's going to launch, about how it's going on. I don't know how the trending thing works on Twitter, but PulseX is trending, right? And so we see this, and a lot of it just comes down to what we see in ourselves. Being that he is a developer, and again, I can't verify this. I haven't spoke to him myself. I've heard other people in the community have mentioned that he's a developer for Pulse Chain, and I'm sure other people have better sources as well. But he's saying that he's not going to release anything that isn't public. Richard Hart is a source of truth for his products. It's not my place. You are all amazing, and I believe that Pulse Chain will change the world, and RH is changing the world. So you have basically a developer for Pulse Chain who's coming out and saying that there are so many nodes happening already that there are, and again, they're saying they only operate 3% of the nodes. So there was 520 nodes in Pulse Chain testnet V2B, and that essentially that's happening there. So this was someone that said, hopefully we as a community decide to host validators as decentralized as possible. Personally, would like to see a nice spread around the world in almost every country through different means, personal servers, different VPSs, hopefully less than 1% of Pulse Chain validators per country. And he said, this is inevitable, zero chance of this not happening. And that's why he's showing this chart right here, which basically shows people doing a testnet node in every single portion of the world. And this is just testnet. So let alone whenever we actually get to the Pulse Chain launch, pretty insane. 1 hour and 15 minutes till 2023 is how I'm spending my last moments. And it was basically him working on the code for Pulse Chain testnet. That's what that all is in there. He says, happy 2023. Talking about nice pole dancing from Richard Hart, doing his good old pole dancing on the Fresh and Fit podcast that he was a part of. And any tips and tricks, they said. You know the best. You know you are the best when you are getting attacked. No one attacks losers because they threaten no one. Interesting. So, yeah, people are threatening. Hex threatens to implode as Richard Hart creator faces fraud accusations. And we already saw that back in December. I covered a little portion of it where Binance did the article of it. But yeah, that's Brett Tepp saying like, hey, this is him coming out basically saying like, Pulse Chain's good, folks. Pulse Chain's good. It's coming. It's here. It's ready when it's ready. You know, it's also going to be a matter of time over here because, you know, what he's talking about over here, quote of the day, if you read enough books, you'll never be a victim of gaslighting. I feel like if you're going to be, you sometimes just get like caught up in certain scenarios, right? And sometimes when you're caught up in those scenarios, it just is what it is. So I don't want to get too far into, you know, what he was talking about there. But I do see that we have a lot of folks in the community who have their own opinions on Pulse Chain. I myself have my own opinions of Pulse Chain as well. And what I see happening, Gray Walls, appreciate that. Gray Walls, appreciate that. Love having you in the chat as well. You're greatly appreciated. You commenting, you coming in here. And thank you so much for loving my content. I'm loving making this stuff, right? This is an absolute blast. And I keep getting better and better. My situation keeps, you know, changing and changing. I think we're up to 425 subscribers now. So the goal is obviously to get up to 1,000 so we can start hopefully monetizing the channel and just getting that way. You know, that way I'm transparent with everyone. I would like to get there so we can, of course, monetize. But sharing the good word of Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulse X, Richard Hart, the ecosystem, the Hexkins, the community, that's what it's all about for me, which is why I think sometimes planning is by far the best thing you can do, especially in the bear market, right? Because right now it's boring, right? There's not a lot going on. It's probably easy to get distracted, look at the new shiny object, maybe start putting funds into other things that are happening just so you can, you know, stay busy. And sometimes boring is best, right? And so like you don't always have to be trading, you don't always have to be doing stuff and moving transactions around, which is where Hex comes into play in that regard. And for all the Hexicans, right, if you are staked in Hex right now, or if you're holding liquid Hex, that's also getting copied over when the Ethereum fork happens, right? We've talked about this just a moment ago, but with the Ethereum fork of Pulse Chain coming out, it's going to be an absolute game changer, folks. Going to be a game changer, right? So it's an absolute wild time right now. So talking about the planned fork over here, the main reason why the fork is happening for the scalability, right? So again, when it comes to Pulse Chain being launched, if you have something that has a faster throughput, so again, like that's not the main focus of Pulse Chain, right? The main focus of Pulse Chain is that it's going to be the largest airdrop. Why? Because most forks that happen from Ethereum actually launch empty. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to transfer any coins over. They want to launch empty and start from a bare bones slate. Well, Pulse Chain is actually taking on the challenge of forking the entire Ethereum network. This is something that has been never done before. And again, like I say this because like so often it just doesn't happen quickly, and then the momentum that can come along with it as well. I think ETH-W and ETH-F or ETH-Fair is by far like the best example that not all forks are successful. And it's not to say that they won't be successful going forward in the future, but most blockchains are not widely adopted, and a lot of blockchains do not achieve the same level of success as Ethereum. And so taking over that and taking on that challenge to try to work with and compete with and almost like be in growth with Ethereum is a very large task to do. So you have to make sure that it's launching correctly. You have to make sure that it's good to go. We got Crypto Gains Club in the house. What is going on, my friend? Hello, hello, hello. I appreciate you swinging through, as always, coming in here, being a part of the community, being a part of my community and our community, and just growing with us, right? So it's an absolutely wild time that we're seeing happen. we know that the forks of Ethereum have happened in the past, right? There have been examples of, and I can actually pull this up as well if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can find it. Minimize, and we'll close. Yep. And then I'm trying to find a picture right now on my desktop, so just give me 1 second while I kind of go through here and look for that picture on my end. And Pulse X price. I wonder if I didn't save it, which wouldn't surprise me in all reality. So let's just pull it up here. Pulse chain price prediction. And go to some images, because I think that's an easy thing for a lot of folks to find. I'm trying to showcase how Pulse Chain and the gains of Pulse Chain can come around as well. Because this is something that when you find it, it is pretty incredible to see. And I also want to kind of take a look at, you know, what was possible, what's going on with those prices as well. And I can't necessarily find it. So what do? Well, we look at my YouTube channel, because I actually made a video on this. So I can, if you want to ever go back in and see what the price prediction was as well that I had said, you can go back in and find the video, Pulse Chain price prediction. Right? Pretty easy there. And Pulse Chain. Here we go. And by the way, people are still sacrificing for Pulse Chain, folks. Like, yeah, like, if you're sacrificing for Pulse Chain, you should stop. That is absolutely wild. The fact that it's still happening right now to this day. I couldn't believe it whenever I heard it. It was something that completely shocked me in the beginning because, you know, at an absolutely crazy time, it was just wild. Like, what is happening, right? So let me go over here and get back to sharing this screen so that way everyone can kind of see. Here we go. And open up on here. And share. All right, so this was a video that I had. Oh, and I gotta share that screen. There we go. Cool. This was a video that I made. Hey, Hexodl. Hello. Slow day. A couple of mellow hex streams. Yeah, of course. You know, it's always fun if you see everyone kind of coming in. I know we have people who are doing daily streams. We got Randy Hilarski doing his daily streams Monday through Friday. We have Fu Finance coming in doing his daily streams, you know, usually around 11 Central Standard Time. And then we also have Money Gain, or goodness gracious, I'm drawing a blank. Money Gain Crypto? Money Crypto Gains Club? What was his name? The Pulse Tube. Let me see real fast. I don't know why I just drew a blank on his name right whenever I was looking at it. Money Gain Crypto. Yeah. I had it right. So Money Gain Crypto is coming in doing, you know, live streams as well. And so it's always fun if you actually get to see all these folks coming through. And I think for those folks who don't know, you can actually go to this website, thepulsetube.com. And it's just right up here in the top left corner. And by going up here to this corner, thepulsetube.com, it'll actually give you a list of all the videos happening right now. It'll give you a list of different streamers happening. So it looks like we definitely got a few folks who are coming through, and X-Ray Vision in the house. And, you know, I definitely want to have him on the channel at some point in time. I think he's an awesome member of the community, and he's, you know, been around for, you know, the day one hex type deals. So it's always crazy to see that and have that in the neighborhood and the community as well. But to get back to what we were talking about over here, this was actually the video that I did for the Pulse Chain price prediction. And so Pulse Chains are very unique in a way compared to other blockchains that launched previously and have done on average 200x plus. So we have things like Avalanche, BNB, Atom, Solana, FTM, and all these have done 57x in 300 days. Binance did a 34x in 245 days. Atom did 41x in 551 days, or 53 days. Solana did a 1233x, and then Phantom did a 2212x in 500 days. So looking at what those are doing right now, it is an absolute opportunity right now to be planning ahead. And that's what we were talking about with the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? So if you have an idea of what's capable for these chains, what's possible in these areas, then it's going to put you in a much better situation than trying to go in blindly a lot of the times, right? And so if I go in here and can go to, we'll say Nomics. I think, yeah, let me see if Nomics allows me what I want to do. I haven't actually checked this out. We check this out live and we go through it together. So y'all get to come through with me while we do the searching. So I know Solana has been down quite a bit lately, as a matter of fact. And I know, you know, there's talk of it, can it recover and all that good stuff too. Because Solana has done quite a bit. But if I go over here to this tab now, and this is nomics.com, you can see Solana launched in April of 2020, it looks like. And from there, it was roughly around 12. Whoops. Close that. And I just want to zoom in just a smidge. Yeah, so Solana launched around this area, which again, right around $1, somewhere in that ballpark, $1. And then it ended up going all the way up to $258. Now, let me see what what tools do they have on this website here? I don't want to see any, I don't want to use any indicators. I'm not looking for that. Okay, well, fair enough. Maybe I can't use this particular website here, but because I was trying to see like the gain that it had. Now we could see now. Who's calling me right now? Aiken Country Pub? I'm just going to decline that. I use my phone as the video source, just FYI, so that way, you know, sometimes I'll get a call and I forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb today. Surprise, surprise, you know, the little items that come along. So that was the first one that we see. Solana did quite a bit of a gain, right? From $1 all the way up to $258. That is a pretty good gain. Now, something that I had done previously was talk about profit-taking strategy. So if we plan that Pulse Chain is going to launch and it's going to do a 200x within maybe even the first year or more, then I want to have a profit-taking strategy in place in my mind already. I think profit-taking should be discussed more often in the community than it is. I know we want to hold these assets for a very long time. However, we still want to be able to also appreciate the luxuries or even just have some dry powder sitting to the side. If we know that crypto is going to drop 70% on average within X amount of time, and it's typical for cryptos to do, I want to have some more dry powder sitting on the side to scoop up those prices at lower prices. Another suggestion that I have is, while we know this rally is going to go up, especially in Pulse Chain with a new project coming out, I want everyone to be very cautious with this as well. I think when you're purchasing a new asset and you're purchasing a new crypto when it's making all-time highs, you're going to probably end up suffering some losses for a little bit more of an extended period of time, which is where profit taking can come into place. My idea behind profit taking essentially means you're going to take out 5%. This is my strategy. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. But something that you can plan on is a 2x strategy. Every time the price does a 2x, you can take out 5% profit. Now, that number can change based on what you're looking to do for yourself. And you don't have to reinvest it right away either. It can literally be cashed out and sit on the side. Now, we are going to have different areas available to us as well, like liquid loans, which is going to be another protocol we're going to be discussing once that particular protocol launches. I think the ability you can get from them can do very well as long as you stay properly collateralized. That is massive to say again. Properly collateralized, folks. If you put yourself in a position where you are under collateralized, and I just don't want anyone to be going through that, right? It's like taking on margin and then getting margin called. Not quite the same, but still. So the idea is that we want to do a 5% every 2x. So if you have, and we did this math the other day in Hex, for example, but if you start out with $10,000, well, when it goes up and does a 2x, it goes to 20,000, right? And that's simply going from $1 to $2 that we see here. You take out 5%, okay? Not much. It's not gonna drain your bag by any means, but it takes out that 20,000, and then you take out 5%, leaving you at least $1,000 in USDC. Now you still have 19,000 in the game. And then again, once it goes up to $4, well, what do we do there? We do the same thing again. Now it's gone from 19,000 to 38,000, and you want to take out 5% there, right? And you want to continue to do this every time you get a 2x. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. I'm sharing my profit taking strategy that I'm looking to implement whenever I actually have the gains coming through for Pulse Chain, PulseX, and all the other projects that I'm invested in. And so when it goes up to $4 to $8 to $16, right? You want to have these numbers in mind already. Why? Because typically as humans, especially without Hex being in place to lock our value and keep us true to our word, it's very difficult to maintain the knowledge that you're going to last while it's rallying up. Guys, if you go from $10,000 and then assuming it does what is this, a 54x, that is a massive gain. You now have $540,000. You're gonna be having a lot of things going through your head, right? Whether it be sell everything, whether it be quit your job, whether it be cash out and live on what you've made, whether there's so many things that are always going through your head. Do I sell now? It's gone up 54x already. Do I continue to hold? Like, guys, the stress that brings is absolutely tremendous. It can put a strain on your life, your financial future, your overall personal relationships with your friends, with your family. It's a massive strain that you don't want to do. So again, providing with the 5 Ps, proper preparation prevents poor performance. Have a plan in place, folks. Right? And so I say this to try to share with everyone kind of what I'm looking to do going forward. If I see it go from $1 to $2 to $4 to $8, cool. I'm going to have profit taken every single time. And eventually once it reaches up to this like $54 here, and then it starts dropping back down, guess what? You aren't worried, right? You aren't freaking out. You aren't wondering like, oh shit, I knew I should have sold. I knew I should have done this. Because look at this, folks. Like, it can be a big thing on your life when you see it go from $56 down to $25. That means you went from $540,000 down to $200,000, which is plenty, but that means you just lost $300,000. Now, I'm not saying this to put any fear in anyone, but this is a good opportunity that you could have scooped up some more had you had the dry powder from taking profit along the way. So just because you take profit doesn't mean you have to cash out the profit. It means you have that sitting to the side to be able to take advantage of other opportunities that can present themselves in the future. So by doing this, and it goes up to 54 and then it goes down, and guess what? You've taken profit, you're okay, you're comfortable with it, and then it traded sideways for a period of time. Let me see if I can scroll down just a smidge. It traded sideways from May all the way up until basically July. So 2 months, not too long to trade sideways. We've already gone sideways over the last year essentially for Hex, so we've been familiar with that. And then it started rallying back up again. Well, guess what? I'm still implementing those same strategies, right? And so it starts out from 22. Well, now when it goes up to 48, I'm going to take out 5%. And then when it goes up to 96, I'm going to take out some profit. And these profits can be massive when you start getting to these numbers, guys, because when you have something that's gone up and done a 90x on your money, the amount of profit that you start taking out can be huge. So just as an example, if you have 10,000 and it does a 90x, that's sitting on $900,000, right? Well, if you start taking out 5% in that portion in time, that's $45,000 you're going to be sitting in that you have the ability to do whatever you want, right? And so you can continue to do this. Well, if you continue to take profits all the way up, so it went up to 191, went back down to 122. Guys, like, these are moments when you freak out, you make stupid decisions, and you make poor, rash calls that will wreck yourself going forward in the future. But if you continue to take profits and you have a strategy in place, you're going to succeed, right? Ten Top, what is going on? What's up? Hexakin says Ten Top. Ten Top, welcome in the building, my friend. And so I look at other protocols, and I'm going to do this for a couple of them because we have some examples of what they've done, and I want to know that, you know, I'm putting a plan in place that whenever Pulse Chain launches, I'm mentally and ready to be implementing my strategies, right? And if it does a 10x, then do the math on what that is for 2x, right? That means it's done 5 2x's. So instead of taking out 5%, maybe you take out 25% after a 10x, because it could do a 10x very quickly. And then it could go back down possibly 70%. And guess what? If you have that 10x money that you've taken profit on, the 25%, you're going to be able to reinvest that while it's lower. That's another thing. I don't want anyone typically trying to buy while the knife is fallen. I think while it's waiting, and we know that crypto is going to do 70, 80, 90% drops, and I'm not saying Pulse Chain is going to be any different, right? If we assume that Pulse Chain is crypto and crypto is volatile and these dips are in the game, then I want to have something in place that I can do myself, okay? So watch this go here, and it goes from 122, and now you're sitting at 258. I wish I'd done the math on this, but if you did the 5% strategy during this entire time, you would end up with a massive amount of money in dry powder. Because guess what? If it goes from 250 and then you start seeing these drops down to 80, let's just see what the math is on that, because I bet you it's around 70%. 87 divided by 259. Yeah, it's 67% right there. So it's going to be just a little bit lower. And guys, if you start buying here, like, you know, 70% opportunities are great buying opportunities to start reinvesting if it's going to have something that's long term. If you have something that's planning on going to last, that has good product market fit, that's doing everything it can, 70% is a good entry price to start getting back in. That's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I'm looking to implement for myself. And that's why I'm trying to plan ahead and just share my thoughts and my strategies with y'all. Because guess what? Now you can start buying here when it's 70% down, 80% down, and then it goes up again. And guess what? If you buy here and it goes from $80 or $79 and starts going back up to 140, 150, again, like, these are times that you can start. Again, this isn't trading. I don't want to think about this as trading. This is a long-term play. This is by no means trading. Oh, you have to say it backwards, I think. ANALOS. You have to say it backwards. Anals. Analysts? Yeah. That's too funny. So Hex Auto always coming in with the little funds. You know, saying what's up to Ten Top, saying what's up to everyone else in the chat, saying hello Hex Huddle, and hello Ten Top. What is going on, everybody? Being a part of this chat, Crypto Gains Club, Gray Walls, we got Hex Huddle, Hex Flex, Summer Darling, PS Joe, Crypto Freedom. Thank you so much for all of y'all coming through, being here, participating in this fun little chat and exercise with me. Because guess what, guys? Like, I'm not saying Solana's what I'm looking for, but I'm planning for Pulse Chain to do probably something maybe similar, right? Like, this is going through a bear market, and if we know that bear markets are cyclical, then we can assume that Pulse Chain may go through the same thing in 3 years. That's why it's not trading. This is, if you consider this trading, it's a fucking long-term trade, right? But this isn't trading. This is you taking profits along the way, you having a strategy in place. This is you going from $1 here all the way up, taking profits to $256, $260, and then waiting to buy back in with some of those profits around the 70% dip, 80% dip, 90% dip. And in this case, of course, it's gone down pretty low, and Solana may recover, right? It's another network. I'm not too familiar with it. I know they have their own little issues going on as well. So I don't know too much. Klaus in the house. Hello, Klaus. I appreciate you coming through, saying hi, saying hello to everyone, being a participant in the chat. Thank you so much. And again, Tin Top saying Hex Auto, hello, giving the good old peace sign. So this is, and again, this is just one. This is just one, right? Here's another one, right? And we had Binance do the same thing. And I'm gonna look at FTM next. I feel like they could do a good one because that's a 2,000x gain in 600 days. So in less than 2 years, they did a 2,000x gain. Well, guys, let's plan on something like that happening for Pulse Chain, right? Why? Because we have the entire Ethereum fork getting, or the entire Ethereum network getting forked. We aren't launching blank. We aren't launching empty like these coins. And so let's just pull back to all. And again, look at this. So it's a similar chart, guys. And what I'm seeing here is we may go through something similar. I'm not saying we will. I don't know how it's going to go. I can't see the future. But what I can do is I can prepare myself right now for these times, right? Because if Phantom launched and it was around 2 cents and it even dipped slightly below a penny, right? It dipped slightly below a penny. We're going to be planning on taking profits on these 2x's. So if you get in on this entry price, and look at this, it's a 30-day window, right? So we go from October and it probably dipped. Let me zoom in a little bit further. It's just, unfortunately, it's too hard to see whenever it's looking like that, right? Okay. Wow, it actually dipped down to 2/200ths of a penny. Okay, so that was the beginning of it. This is the launch of Phantom, and it was around 2 cents when it first launched, and then it actually had essentially a 90% dip, right, if not more, in the first 3 months, and then it started rallying back up again. So if you either got in on the sacrifice for Pulse Chain and it launches, and say it launches at a 10x above what you sacrificed for, right? Like say we start out at 0.001. Now again, I'm basing all these numbers on a 10,000 to 1 ratio. So we think that the price for Pulse Chain should be, as a sacrifice amount, the points that you would receive was 10,000 to 1. So for every $1, you would get 10,000 points. Well, if we do the math on that, then it's 0.0001, right? 3 zeros and a 1. Well, if we have a 10x at launch, that would be putting us at 2 zeros and a 1, 0.001. So if you start out at a 10x, well, I'm trying to plan ahead. Maybe taking a 25% profit right away might be beneficial. I don't know. But I'm trying to plan just in case it does happen that way. And I have a strategy that way I don't wreck myself doing something stupid. I don't plan on pulling all the money that I made. I don't plan on doing everything I can and trying to plan for it to dip down 90% or 80% or 70% in the launch. I think we are going to have some sells happening. We have plenty of folks who are looking to just get out. They have lost their faith in the project. They've lost the faith in the ecosystem. And some folks are just wanting to extract their value that they sacrificed, whether it's at a loss or whether it's at a gain of whatever that may be. And for some folks, a 10x gain at launch could be a massive game changer, right? Assuming you sacrifice $100,000 and you get a 10x and you have $1 million and you extract all the value, like, you may wreck yourself and regret that going forward in the future, especially if you see it go do a 200 plus x, right? Because then it's like you just missed out on 190x. But to each their own, and everyone's gonna have that. But if we assume the price is gonna dip to around 0.003, or not even, assuming the price is starting out 10x above your sacrifice, you may take out 25% profit. Why? Because every time it does a 2x, you take out 5%. And so if it does a 10x, that's just 5 2x's, right? Math. So whenever it gets there, it does the dip. You now have some additional cash that you've taken profit that you can reinvest and possibly buy back in once it reaches the threshold of 70 to 80%, 90% dip, whatever that threshold is. Well, now that you've reinvested some of that capital and it goes back up again, we're going to kind of see how this plays out real fast in a little bit of a bigger scheme over here, because this was a fast move that happened pretty quick, right? So it literally went from 0.002 all the way up to $3.30. What's the math on that? 0.002 divided by 3.3. That's not right. 3.3 divided by 0.002. A 1650x. Okay. Interesting. So divided by 2. How many doubles is that? How many 2x's is that? That's 825 2x's from the all-time low. And assuming you're taking profit every single time it does a 5% area times, how would I say this? I don't know how to necessarily come out with the math on this one. I'm trying to think about it in the head. Doing math on live stream is always fun. Okay, so we're just gonna go back to the basic right here, right? So assuming we're planning ahead and that we plan for a 2x when it reaches and it starts out at 2 cents. When it reaches 4 cents, we take a 2x. When it reaches 8 cents, we take 5%. When it reaches $1.60, right? We continue through this whole cycle every single time. And this is a good strategy that you can implement for yourself going forward to be able to capitalize on some of these dips. Now, again, I don't know if Phantom's going to come back. I don't know anything about it, but I have strong faith in our Pulse Chain Hex game ecosystem. As My Life is Awesome would say, Pulse Chain Hex game. So, this is again, if you start seeing these dips, this is going from $3 down to $1.31. Well, that's again a pretty decent drop. 1.31 divided by 3.2. So again, a good 60% dip there. And maybe I should be changing my strategy for 60% as good re-entry levels, because I'm seeing them kind of dip down right about that 60%. And this is me coming up with strategies with y'all as well. I'm trying to figure this game out too. I want to make sure that I can capitalize on not only the gains going up and have these profits on the way up, but also capitalize and be able to reinvest some of those gains back into the asset that I want to reinvest in without putting in new capital, right? I don't want to have to always come in and work a 9-to-5 job in order to reinvest it and re-implement it and restake it and do everything in that regard. I want to be able to take some profits on the way up, and then whenever it comes back down, I just want to be able to reinvest that capital and put it back into the project that I believe in, right? And in this case, it's going to be the Pulse Chain, Pulse X, Hex on both ecosystems for Pulse and Ethereum, right? And so I want to be able to take out some of these profits and then reinvest. Now, again, what I'm talking about doing is only 5% of your stack. It's a very small amount. It's a number that I felt like wouldn't burn yourself too quickly. And as these gains start happening, it can be a life-changing amount of money. Because what did we say that was? 1600x just a moment ago. So if we start out with $10,000 as we're using as a reference point, and you do a 1600x on that, that is $16 million. Like, it'll look great on paper, and if all you do is hold the entire time, it'll look phenomenal, right? It'll be like, oh shit, 16 million fuckers, like, that's amazing, and I'm the genius, and I'm the greatest person alive type deal. And then we see these dips in the game, and then guess what? Like, it's back down to 26 cents right now, right? Which is only a 10x from essentially the initial start price, right? You went from a 1600x looking like a mad genius to potentially sitting at a 10x above where it was that you may have sacrificed or launched at or whatever. And so that, okay, that's annoying. Why aren't you staying? What's wrong? I can't move it over. I just have to go slower. Okay, I'll go slower. I'll try. Okay, but this is what I'm talking about, right? I don't want to be in this position where I see it go from 16 million and then I go back to only being at 100,000. I want to be able to say I took 16 million and guys, like, what if you just took out, and it's not going to be the exact math, obviously. 16 million, is it one more zero times, I think it was around, I don't even know how to do the math. It was 475 times 5%. What is, can you do math on that? Does that work that way? No. Okay, so I'm just gonna say 16 million times, we're just gonna assume. I'm just gonna do 5% just for shits and gigs, because my math in my head just isn't working. What I missed? Can you repeat everything? Yeah. Let's start back at the beginning. Hello, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is ATX Crypto. Welcome into the chat, Academy. I'll say it a couple more times for sure, because I'm looking at currently what we're doing is we're talking Pulse Chain, right? I'm thinking, I'm trying to plan ahead for Pulse Chain. I'm trying to plan ahead for the gains that's going to be coming from this new project. I'm also, because again, guys, the 5 P's, proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? Like, if you come in with a strategy, if you come in with the knowledge that things are going to happen a certain way, then you're going to be winning so much more than someone who doesn't have a strategy in place. You're going to be coming in with something that can prove to be truly profitable, instead of you just sitting on the side saying, I got diamond hands, I don't ever sell, right? That's cool. But then you also, again, based on the numbers we just ran, you took 10,000, turned it into 16 million, and it went back down to 100,000 because you have diamond hands. Like, that's not a genius move. That's a dummy move. You're playing into someone else's game, and I just cannot believe. Yeah, Willow Dreams in the house saying, honestly, I hope it takes a while for it to come out so I have more time to prepare. Well, we've had a lot of time already, right? But also because of that time, I've also been able to formulate different strategies. Because of 2022 and the bear market presenting itself for the first time for me, I now have different strategies that I'm implementing going forward, right? I want to be able to make sure that I capitalize on the dips. I want to make sure that I profit on the gains, and I want to make sure I do it in a smart way, okay? So that's just the example. And guys, like, let's go back to my video here, right, that I talked about it. We had these coins here. These are the layer 1 networks that forked over Ethereum and the gains that they had during the time they did. There was Avalanche did a 57x in less than a year. Binance did a 34x in less than a year. Atom did 41x in a little over a year. Solana 1200x in, again, about 600 days. And Phantom, that we just looked at, 2200x in 600 days. So in less than 2 years, the average of all of these coins was 200x plus on average. So I'm trying to plan for a 200x plus possibility for Pulse Chain, right? And so if I use these strategies and I see what they did, because guys, guess what? We looked at Solana a second ago. We looked at Phantom a second ago. Let's look at AVAX, right? I think AVAX is going to be the next one I want to kind of check out and see. What did I do with the website? Did I just close the website? I crack myself up sometimes with how I do things. Okay, there it is. AVAX, whoops. So I'm trying to see how they performed. They're similar networks to layer 1s that forked Ethereum. And I'm trying to plan for what they did. And guys, we're seeing the same thing, right? And again, this is probably because it's a bear market, but guess what? If bear markets are in a cycle and bear markets are in the game and it's a 3-year, 1-year cycle, well, let's plan for that, right? Let's be sure to take advantage of these moments. Let's be sure to take advantage of the opportunity. So whenever AVAX first launched, it launched around $2, right? That was the initial price, it seems like it launched at. Well, my strategy, and I'll say it again for Academaciated, is to take 5% profit every single 2x. Hey, if it does a 10x, guess what? You're going to take a 25% profit. Why? Because there's 5 2x's in a 10x. So I just multiply 5 times 5 and I get 25%. So if we launch, and I'm using this as the example because I think Pulse Chain is going to launch at a 10x. That's my thought. And I think we're going to be launching from a 10x because we've been so freaking patient. There's so much dry powder sitting on the side right now waiting for Pulse Chain to launch. based on all the metrics and all the numbers that we've been diving into all these wallets, a lot of folks are converting their hex into USDC and they're waiting. They're sitting on cash. Well, I want to be doing the same thing going forward. I want to have a certain plan going forward that I can also implement. And so that's why I think converting, not cashing out, there's a big difference. Converting your profit and sitting on it. If you decide to cash out some, by all means, do you, boo. But converting, yes, to answer the question, I could debate it says, will I be utilizing liquid loans or the like? Yes, and we definitely will be talking about liquid loans more because I think it's a phenomenal thing, but I think people can also get wrecked very quickly by under collateralizing themselves and not having enough in the system and just trying to cash out while it's going up, not planning for the price to fall back down. And so my numbers in my head is, you know, can I handle a 95% dip? And that's kind of the numbers we're going to be talking about with liquid loans. But I need to play around with the whole spreadsheet more. I made a spreadsheet there, and it's, you know, fun that I'm doing. But yeah, so looking here at this chart. There we go. So we have, let me zoom in just a smidge more. Scroll over. Okay, so this is AVAX. This is another layer 1 fork that's going to be a similarity to Pulse Chain launching. So if I'm trying to plan, I'm trying to look at what was around, what was done during that time. My idea is 5% profit every 2x. And again, I think Pulse Chain's going to launch at a 10x. So possibly we take 25% profit from our sacrifice right from the jump, because we may see a dip in the game. Now, this is a great example. Avalanche never dipped in the first few months, and so we may never see a dip. Let me see if I can get back to the beginning of Avalanche, because this is actually pretty interesting. So Avalanche, it looks like it never actually had the dip in the game. Yeah, it launched and it just went up. Oh my goodness, I zoomed in way too far. Okay. So it launched at $2, $1, and yeah, we'll just say $2, right? We're just going to say it's exactly $2. And then it looks like it never hit below $2 based on all these metrics. So here's what I'm planning, okay? So it launches, I take 25% profit. The reason why I'm taking profit, folks, is to have cash aside on the side for the dips that are going to be in the game. If we know the dips are in fact in the game, I think good buying opportunities, and I may be adjusting this number, is around 70%. That's when you can start re-entering the projects. I don't think buying all-time highs and new all-time highs and reinvesting the profits when it's reaching all-time highs is going to be advantageous for you. The idea behind it is that way when it starts out at 2x and it reaches this $4, well, guess what? I now take out another 5%. And it's not much. 5% is not a lot. It's not enough to wreck yourself. It's not enough to do something stupid. But these numbers can turn into massive numbers later. And we'll discuss some of that as well. So it starts out here at $4. And then guess what? When it reaches $8, I'm probably going to look at doing another 5%. Because during this whole time, it goes back up and then it starts going down. I'm not worried that it's going down because, again, I've already taken profit. I don't have to worry that it didn't reach $8 because I'm confident that it still has higher to go. And so I'm planning for it to continue to go higher. And guess what? It sure did. It starts reaching $8. Well, I'm taking out 5% here. And then guess what? It reaches $16. And I'm taking 5% there. It reaches $32. I'm taking 5% there. It reaches $64 and I'm going to be taking out 5%. But guess what? It didn't reach it. So now I'm trying to figure out if now is a good buying opportunity for this little area. It reached $55 through this little rally, right? And it reached $55. Well, now I've taken profit on the entire run up. I've taken 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, whatever that number may be. And I did it all the way up to, what would that be? $32. During that time, I essentially took quite a bit of profit, I assume, because a $32 to $2 ratio is a very good 16x gain of your money. Okay. Space D007 says no dip for pulse chain, sir, at 100%. Sure. Okay. I think dips are gonna come, man. I think we have to be prepared for it. I'm trying to mentally prepare. And again, the 5Ps, proper preparation prevents poor performance. I don't want to do something stupid. I don't want to look back and say, damn, I wish I would have. I think something that I learned in 2021 was I should have taken some profit on Hex. I think there were a lot of opportunities for me to take profit. I didn't necessarily have everything 100% staked. I was sitting liquid because I planned on the launch of Pulse Chain and forking over and having different strategies. And so I had some liquid and I could have taken some profit. And now that turned in from, we'll say, $50,000 as an example to now it's sitting at, less than 5,000. And you can't really do a lot with 5,000 now, even though it's, liquid and I can do whatever and I could stake it and earn some yield and all that. It's just a big difference in what could have been possible. And I could have bought some more Hex, and I'm still buying Hex to this day, right? I tell you my limit orders, I have that set, and every single price the price dips, I'm scooping up some more Hex. And yeah, so again, like in this scenario, right, each time you sell and reinvest at bottom, 50% for tax. If you are wrong, you're short on your tax. Spacey 007, we talked about this before, if I'm not mistaken, and you've brought that up. Here in the U.S., and again, I'm not a tax advisor, but if you convert your gains, your crypto into USDC, and you don't cash out, that's not a taxable event. Just like when you end your stake in Hex and you mint more Hex into existence, that's not a taxable event because you're not cashing out. You haven't actually taken profit. It's still unrealized. And you can't like, they're trying to come up with a strategy in tax terms for you to be taxed in that regard, but there's nothing in place at this point in time for you to get taxed like that. Okay. So the way I'm seeing it is I'm going to hold this as liquid, and I'm not, you don't get taxed on it here in the US. And again, I'm not a tax advisor. Talk to your own tax advisor, figure that out for yourself. But, that's the way it works. So that's why I'm using this strategy and I'm sharing it myself. This is my strategy that I can implement. If you take your own way and figure out your own thesis for profit taking strategy, then that's of course up to you as well. Who is this calling me? I don't know you, man. I don't know you. I ain't answering that phone call. And obviously my phone's still on not on do not disturb, clearly, because I'm still getting them calls. Okay, so based on what we just talked about, you have the profit. You see this run up here. It goes from $55 and it starts dipping. Well, guess what? When it reaches this number here, $15, maybe this is a good reinvestment opportunity, right? And so, like, let's do some quick math. At 55, at 15 divided by 55, that is a 73% dip. And do I think that's a good opportunity to start looking to reinvest? Yes, like we talked about. So now we're reinvesting all that capital, not everything all at once. We're reinvesting some of the capital back in at these prices at $15. And this is just an example. And yes, could it dip further? For sure. We know that to be the case, right? And so if it dips further, well, guess what? I'm looking to scoop up some more from all the investment profits that I've taken up to this point on the way up to $55. I'm not sitting there with diamond hands being like, damn, I should have taken profits. Damn, is it going to go lower? Damn, is this the time to sell? Is it dead? Is it doomed? Like, those thoughts fuck you up, man. I'm telling you right now. That's that trading mentality that will fuck you up. And I'm trying to get away from that. But I still have to have a strategy in my system, in my head, that I can be comfortable with. Because guess what? If you're buying here at $9, well, look at this. It dipped down to $9, $10, we'll say, and then it starts rallying back up again. Well, guess what we do when we start rallying back up? We look at reinvesting and taking out some profits. Now, some people are going to wait till it reaches the 30. So 32 was where we took our last profit for this example. So 32, we took some profit, and then it goes back up. And look at this, folks. It goes back up and it goes back up. And then it actually reaches $64. Well, guess what we do at $64? We start taking some profit again, but now we have so much more profit because we bought the dip. We had the cash that we had saved through this whole time. We took profit all the way up, And this is all within freaking a year, folks, if I'm not mistaken. Look at this. This is all happening pretty relatively quick. This is like it launched in August of 2020, we'll say. And then here in August of 2021, it has the dip in the dip area. And this is when it started kind of dipping again. And then now the rally starts coming back up. So all within a year. And I apologize for those folks who are, maybe getting distracted with me. I get distracted pretty easily, but this is a great opportunity, right? This is me saying like, dude, this is it, sitting at almost a freaking dollar, or I'm not a dollar. This is again back in August of 2021. Well, then it starts rallying back up and we start taking profit, and then it reaches $120 and we start taking profit. But we aren't going to be buying the please say it with me. Do not buy the freaking highs. Do not buy all-time highs. If the project is making new all-time highs, you sit there and you watch that money grow. You watch it grow. You don't need to be freaking buying when it's making new all-time highs. One of the issues that I found, unfortunately, that I got caught up in was I got caught up in the hype of Pulse Chain. I got caught up in the hype of Hex doing a double every single freaking 45 days or whatever it was. And I was buying the highs. I was buying the highs. Well, now I'm realizing I'm now sitting on the lows, right? And so I have to come up with a strategy going forward for myself so I don't end up in the same position. So now I'm taking profits, 5% every time it does a 2x. And then again, like you can start here, and if it reaches $10 and then it goes up and does $20, well, maybe you look at taking profits. And then when it reaches $40, you look at taking profits. And then when it reaches $80, you look at taking profits. And then when it reaches 160, right, it may not even get there. But that's what I'm saying. If it doesn't get there, well, guess what? When it starts dipping, because guys, if we know dips are in the game, if you know they're coming, if you know they happen, why buy all-time highs? Just wait. But I want to have dry powder ready to deploy for when the dips come. I don't want to be caught with my pants down like I was with Hex, right? I was completely sidetracked. I didn't think we'd ever see these prices, but now I've learned, and I've used this lesson as a learning lesson. Guys, we all make mistakes. We have to make mistakes in order to succeed. If you do not make mistakes, you will not grow. If you are scared to do something because of failure, then unfortunately you're going to be stuck in the position you're in forever. And for some folks, hopefully at strip clubs, 10 top. It's all good, but guess what? Like, I'm scooping up prices that I wasn't in early on Hex, and I've said this before. I wasn't in. The prices that I'm getting right now for Hex are the best prices that I've ever been able to attain. But I'm scooping more up every single chance I can, and I'm not trying to waste this opportunity that's presented itself in front of me. But now that I know, dude, I had life-changing money, in my opinion, to where I thought this shit was amazing. It was going to be incredible. I could live off. I could do this. I had all these plans in place. And then the 95% dip comes and punches you in the face. And it shows you that you might want to rethink your plans. You might want to rethink your strategies. Well, I'm using this opportunity in time to rethink my strategies. One thing I've thought of is a 5% profit every time it does a 2x. So it does a 2x, 5%, 2x, 5%. And I'm going to sit there and hold on that and just sit there with cash on the side, because if I know that dips are in fact in the game, guys, look at this. It went up to $135. Let's just do the math on what that is. $135 times 0.7 would be $94. So when it reaches this number here, $94, right, which we clearly see it reached 120 and it started dipping. Now this is when you have to be patient still as well, because this is what I'm going to show you. This is when we started seeing the bear market come for crypto, November of 2021. That was around the time we saw the 33-cent Hex, and that was around December and January, right? But this is when dips started happening. So now it dips to 95% or $95. Well, I now have more capital to deploy, and I don't have to buy all of it back in. I have a stack of cash that I can buy in when it dips 70%. And then when it dips to 80%, I want to have some more cash that I can buy in. And when it dips 90% and it starts dropping here, this is almost a 90% drop, right? $135 down to $11. Let's just do the math. 135 divided by 11. Whoops, did that one backwards. 11 divided by 135. That is a 92% drop, right? So a 92% drop. Now, if this comes back up again, these could be phenomenal buying opportunities. And guess what? You are still profitable through this whole time. I'm not saying you have to redeploy all of your capital and buy every single dip in the game. You can sit there with plenty of capital on the side. You don't have to do it, but you should have some capital to reinvest back in the project that you believe in. And I think Academia says, yeah, I blew the PLSD pump on New Year. Hey, there you go. You know what I mean? 240%. There you go. Right. And so, like, this isn't trading. I want to get kind of like, I want to get by on that. Whoops. Tin Top actually said over here, me to my boss in the bull market, you're a cheap asshole. I quit. Me in the bear market, sure, I can work overtime and still do a couple of Uber Eats deliveries after midnight. Thank you, sir. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I feel you on that one. Luckily, my wife still works, but I was in the same position where I actually did. I'm semi-retired, right? So it's like, I'm in the same position where, you know, I had a crazy amount of money, and I was like, guys, this is a good change in life for me, right? Like, the investments have worked out well. I believe I'm strongly convicted in the beliefs that I have and the investments I have, and I'm gonna go ahead and just say, like, guys, I love you, but I'm parting ways. So January 14th was actually my last day of working in terms of a corporate job. And I got a lot of thank yous. I got a, you know, big old little party that they threw. Someone gave me a nice little bottle of whiskey in order for me to celebrate, and that was actually around the time that I'd also stopped drinking. So it was like a little funny gag gift. I don't know if they even realized that I stopped drinking, because I don't share a lot of my personal stuff with people. I think that's always been one of the things that I've always done. So January 14th of 2022 was actually the last day of me working. It's almost been a year now. But my wife still works. I still have income coming in from other sources. And, you know, besides, you know, Hex and everything like that. But I really thought that, you know, hey, man, this is amazing. And, you know, during this time, I've looked to be like, should I get another freaking job? And, like, I probably should have. I'm thinking the Pulse Chain's coming soon, because I heavily invested in Pulse Chain based on the gains that I was able to get from Hex. And so I'm waiting for it, right? And during this time, I'm trying to plan ahead this time, because I don't want to end up in the same predicament that I'm in and that we ended up in right now. I want to be able to take advantage of the dips that are here. I want to be able to reinvest my capital and deploy it instead of putting in new money that I didn't have, or that I'm earning now. I want to be able to do whatever I want with that, and then just reinvest capital. So that's my goal. That's my plan. That's why I'm talking to y'all about all this right now. But if you have it to where you saw this go and you took profits the whole time, I mean, guys, look at this. It went from, what do we say, $2 to $136. So that is 136 divided by 2. I guess I could do. That is a 68x gain, right? That's still pretty good. And let's just do the math on, you know, obviously if you started out with 10,000, that would be $680,000 that it turned into. It turned 10,000 into 680,000. I don't want to be a fool and say I'm diamond handing this sucker until the end of days, because guess what? It went down all the way to $11 or $10, which means you only are sitting on a 5x of your money. You took 680,000 and it's now only 50,000, which I don't want to be in that situation, man. I've been here. I've seen this. I don't like it. It's not fun, right? You don't want, I'm telling you right now, you don't want to freaking be here. But how can I do it? I want to plan ahead. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. I don't want to end up in a situation that I fuck myself again, man. And so, like, I'm sharing this opportunity with you. I'm sharing the ideas with you because I hope everyone may have experienced similar things. I want everyone to kind of have something going forward, have a plan that they can implement. Because, guys, like, if I know that these dips are in the game, I want to have capital reinvest. I want to be able to not take new money that I have and try to buy and then watch it fall. Like, I think that is one of the most painful feelings too. Because guess what? I was doing that when it was dipping. Let me see if that was the wife that just texted real fast. Give me a sec. Okay, cool. Someone reached out to me about the friend that I lost, man. My brother. Oh fuck, that's so painful. It's so painful thoughts, right? But damn, trying to get my head back again. So again, I'm trying to have a plan in place that I can say, guys, like I've obviously done the holding before. I've done the diamond hands before. And do I think it's going to rally back up again? Fuck yeah, I do. Do I think we're going to attain all new all-time highs? Like heck yeah. But I don't want to take new capital that I've earned through whatever method that I've earned it in, and I don't want to buy it and then watch it fall, because that's what would happen. I would see this dip and I would see it go from, we'll just say 130 as an example, and I would buy back in at 80, and then I would see it rally up again. I'm like, heck yeah, I made a good choice to buy back in here. I'm in profit already too. And then it dipped below 80, and then you're like, oh shit, should I scoop up some more? And then you scoop up some more, possibly around, we'll say 80 again, right? We'll just use these numbers. And then it dips here, and then you're like, oh shit, I just lost half my capital that I just reinvested. Well, that's new money that's lost profit. But what if you had the money that you had from earning profit the entire time? That's all profit money. This is essentially play money at that point in time, right? Because you've already pulled out your initial funds, guaranteed. If you're doing the 5% profit taking strategy every 2x as an example, you've already gained your money back by the time you end up doing a 10x, if I'm not mistaken. I could do the math on it, but that's exactly what it is. Gary Bennett, thank you so much for coming here, tuning in, participating in the chat, and just being an overall member of the community. You know what I mean? It's always fun, great sound advice, and looking forward. Definitely looking forward as well. Because guys, like, now is the time we need to start figuring it out. Now, before the Pulse Chain launch, right? Before the launch of Pulse Chain, like, what are you going to do when Pulse Chain launches and you experience your first 10x, 100x, 1000x? I haven't had the luxury of experiencing 1000x before, and I damn sure don't want to wreck myself either, okay? So if I have the luxury to say, okay, cool, I now know that if it does 1000x, I've already taken out my profit, right? Let me just do the math. What is that? 1,000 times... What am I trying to say here? Oh, divided by 2. So that's 500 times that you should have taken profit, right? In all reality, just to kind of keep it simple. And if it's 5% every 2x, I'm trying to figure out how to do the math on this to see what it would actually end up being. Because I don't think it would actually math out this way either. Because you lose some as time goes on, and some of the bag, if you will, gets lower, but you still end up gaining because it does a 2x. I'll figure out the math on that, and I'll just probably come out with like a spreadsheet or some shit like that. That's my guess. Just so that it does the math for me, and that way I don't have to try to do live math, because live math is hard. Let me just do 500 times 5. 2,500%. So if this went and it went from $2, if I'm not mistaken, to $136, we'll say. 136 divided by 2. That's 68x times 10,000 is 680,000 times, what was it? 2,500x, 2,400x, 2,400%, I mean. Yeah, I can't do the math. I don't know. My math isn't working out in my head right now for whatever reason. Like, it's just, whenever I start getting above a certain number, it's just like, whoa. Remember, guys, and this is coming from Nuno Alvaro Acevedo. Remember, guys, mad gains do require taking risk. Facts on facts on facts, right? And that's why, like, it comes to a risk opportunity perspective, which is why I think if you're buying something that has good product market fit at a 95% dip, the risk that you're taking on is so much less, and the opportunity is so much greater than if you do that same strategy, but you're buying the all-time highs. One thing I do not recommend going forward is when coins are reaching all-time highs it is not a good opportunity to be buying in. And I'm probably going to be sharing that investment strategy as well. Like, yes, you can probably get in, and yes, you can probably take some profits, but that's going with a trader mentality, and I am not a fan of a trader mentality, which is why I think if we can find a way to possibly enter in, I think 60% is going to have to be the number. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but if we get a 60%, that would be a good time to start reinvesting in that protocol. So it does require that you maybe keep track of it a little bit better instead of just buying in. But if you buy in at all-time highs and then it drops down to 70% dip in the game, then you've lost 70% of that investment right away. And so I don't find that to be the way that I want to go going forward. And so if it goes from $56 down to what is that times 60%? 0.6, whoops, times 0.6. That would be you re-entering, you know, when it reaches $56 here, you actually buying around $33. This is just an idea. And again, like, this is coming from all-time highs, right? So like the way I'm doing the math is coming from the all-time highs. So if it's making new all-time highs, I think a good investment is probably entering back in again at a 60%, 70% dip. I'm really wanting to stay to 70%, but I think 60% is going to be a good number. So if I see it go up to $56, for example, and again, like oh man, folks, like, I'm excited about this. I see it as a massive opportunity for a lot of folks to be coming back in and entering this opportunity here, because I do see that we are entering a whole new era of what's possible. But I also don't want to be in a situation that I'm caught with my pants down again, folks. Like, so I think we're gonna get at least a 30x in the first. I think we're gonna get at least a 20x in the first 3 months, and a possible 10x from launch. So I want to have something in place that I can start capitalizing on all these. Okay. I want to start being able to take advantage of these moments in time. And again, I'm just sharing my perspectives, right? I'm just sharing my thoughts. I'm sharing what I think is possible. I want to share as much as I can, gather as much insight as I can, share as much info as I can, because it is a phenomenal time, right? So like right now we have a planned fork of the Ethereum network coming soon, which is going to be the launch of Pulse Chain. It's going to be a new layer 1 that is forking over the entire system state of Ethereum. That is massive. The entire system state. And again, we don't know what's going to happen with these protocols. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I do see mad gains in these scenarios, which it can be a significant, you know, development, has the potential to impact both Ethereum and, of course, Pulse Chain. It's always important to do your own research, make your own informed decisions. Figure out if you want to participate in the fork. If you've already sacrificed, I want to try to plan for taking profits. I don't want to be caught with my pants down ever again, right? I think this was a learning opportunity that I can implement and share going forward. And I was, you know, always so certain before that now that I know 70, 80, 90% dips are in fact in the game, and any crypto is open to this area as well. I want to go forward with that same process in my head, right? I want to be able to go forward and implement the same areas. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Let's give a shout out to everyone who's here. Be sure to check out our other videos for more information on cryptocurrencies, Hex, and the blockchain technology. We had Nuno of Alvaro Acevedo in the house, Gary Bennett, Academiciated, 10 Top, Space D007, Willow Dreams. We had Klaus come through, Hex Hodl. We had Crypto Gains Club come through, Gray Walls, Hex Flex, Summer Darlin, PS Joe, Crypto Freedom. Thank you so much, folks, for coming in, being a part of the chat, participating in the fun enjoyment of the stream, coming in, just, you know, sharing the information. It's always fun. I'm loving sharing this information with you. Again, my name is ATX Crypto. I do a daily stream. You're welcome to come on in, and feel free to like, subscribe, and check me out in the next video. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.